Dear participants, today we are JIS IASR organizing our webinar series 3, and today our speaker is Dr. Xian Tao. Dr. Tao received his PhD in Control Theory and Control Engineering from the Institute of Automation, Chinese Academy of Sciences, Beijing in 2016. He was a visiting scholar at the University of Technology, Sydney, Australia from 2018 to 2019. He is currently an associate professor with the Research Center of Precision Sensing and Control, IASR. His current research interests include deep learning and automated surface inspection for industry. So I welcome Dr. Tao. Dr. Tao?
Okay.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay, I can hear you, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So now I request you to start this presentation. So after this presentation will be around 40 minutes. So after that we have a small question answer session, and the participants can also type their questions in the chat section. Okay. So Dr. Tao, you may start now, please.
Okay, thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm honored to be invited to give this lecture. Thanks JISIASR, and also thank you, Chandler, for invitation. I'm Xian Tao from the Institute of Automation, Chinese Academy of Science. The topic I will talk about is the research and application of the industry defect detection algorithm based on deep learning. The outline is divided into 3 parts. The first part is about the background of the defect detection. In this part, I will introduce the definition of the defect detection. In the second part, I will summarize the existing defect detection method. And the second part, I will introduce our own work. Defect detection is a very extensive in industry applications. For example, in the chip manufacture, for the detection of valve and the detection of the wood surface defects, and inspect of the scratches on the surface of the cars, as well as inspect of the product parts during the manufacture. Defect detection in the text and packaging and also is important. The inspect of the food surface often hope to give a grade to the food. Different grades have different price. This is also the surface inspect of the solar panels. So it can be said that in the almost all industry products, the process of the defect detection is required. And this process is related to the quality of the product. In the actual industry inspector, surface defect detection will encounter many challenges. For example, high accuracy or the precision, or the high statistical stability, and the high speed. High accuracy means that the accuracy of the defect detection is often needed to reach 98% or even 100%. High stability means that the processing algorithm can adapt to different imaging environments and different product models. High speed means that in the actual production processing, it often takes 1 second to detect multi-workspace. So at the same time, in the algorithm processing, the difficulties of the detection now like the multi-scale low contrast defects, or the broad allergens, or the multiple categories, and even defects in the literature sign. The following four pictures are the very typical defects. This difficult brings a very challenge to the defect detection. At present, in the industry, there are three methods of the defect detection. One is the artificial vision inspection, which is to check whether there are defects on the surface of the product. This method is too slow and costly. There are also differences in judge standards between the different people. And the second method is the traditional machine vision. So the traditional machine vision often uses the image processing or the machine learning method. This method is a feature of the artificial design, so it links the robotics to different products. And the third is the AI, or the artificial intelligence, or the deep learning method. The above two pictures I show, one is the VIDI software, and the other is the Suyo software. Those two AI software allow the product of the context cooperation. AI-based method require the data and the GPU support. So I think the defect detection is developed from the manual inspection to the machine inspection, and the algorithm has also evolved from the design rule method to the data-driven model. Defect detection based on the deep learning or the artificial intelligence can divide into the two methods. One is supervising and the other is unsupervised. The way of the supervising can be further developed into three parts, like the classification, location, and segmentation. Classification often requires the image label, such as the defect 1, defect 2, or the defect 3. And the bounding box is required for the location. Segmentation requires the pixel labeling. And the unsupervised learning often need the samples without defects for learning. So this method needs to learn the features of the samples without defects and judge whether there are defects through the feature difference. So these are two parts for the deep learning method. Next, we will introduce the summary of the defect detection method. The first is the classification network. This method is to directly import the character images into the convolution neural network for classification. So it's the convolution neural network is composed of the multi-scale convolution and polynomials. So this is just the simple one, and we can directly using this network for the classification, for the defect detection. And then the second way is the region of the interest classification. In fact, detection, often we only focus on small parts of the image. The small part is the region of the interest. So only the ROI is classified. Got the ROI is first for the defect detection. In this paper, I show the real else is obtained through the Kenny algorithm. So using the traditional methods to processing the image to get the region of the interest, and then put the ROI into the inception 3 for classification. And the third way is about multi-category classification. Actually, in the defect detection, there are often many types of the defects. The number of the defects are uneven. So there are often many normal images, but few defective images. In this paper, a method is proposed. First, using the NDCNN network to classification the defects or long defects. It's just using the convolution neural network. And then keep the backbone of the NDCNN network unchanged. Just change the subsequent loaders to the defect category. Maybe you have 5 defects, so you just change the loaders number to 5, which can elevate the problem of the number imbalance. And then we can also using the classification network to locate defects. So the classification network not only can obtain the category of the image, but also can go to the position of the defects. The most typical way is to using the snap windows and classification each snap windows. As you can see from the figure below, the position of the crack in the image can be obtained in this way. So we can just go to the correct, where is the correct position, and for detection the crack, just using the classification network. And the second way using the location the defects is the heat map, and just using the CAM is also called the class active map. Through the class active map is the weighting the feature map. The L with the large response in the feature map is obtained, which is the location of the defects. So as you can see from the figure, this method can locate in the light defects in the LED. And the second way is using the multitasking learning. So in this method, we just need a new branches, and the new branches such as the segmentation branches. So the segmentation and the classification branches using the same basic model. So they using the same backbone, but the result of the segmentation branches can be using as an additional supervision singular for the classification branches. So this is a very effective way to classification the defects. And another network using in the defect detection is a location network. But in the computer science, we're also using the object detector network in deep learning. So such as the 2-stage network like the fast RCN. As can be seen from the figure, the fast RCN can detect the crack on the wall. The fast RCN just using the maybe the region proposing network to get the region and then put into the convolution network to detect the correct. Object detection network using in the defect detection is also need to design the network according to the feature of the defects, such as a suitable backbone or the anchor box, and so on. And another network is a single stage network, such as the SSD. It was a common network. It has a faster speed. At least at the same time, it combined the features of the bottle and high nails for the defect detection. And the YOLO, just called the You Only Look Once, is also a common network. So the following figure shows the framework of the YOLO 3. At present, many defect detection methods using the YOLO framework, which is featured by trade-off the accuracy and the speed. So we made a compiled on the XREL dataset, which was produced by the Professor Domingo from the Chile. So from this dataset, we can see that the different location method. And the first stage, maybe the SSD, have advantage in the speed. And the second stage, fast RCN, has advantage in the accuracy. And the segmentation network can get the control of the defects, which has more advantages than the classification and the location network. Technical segmentation network include the FCN, named the Full Convolution Network, and the ULIT and SEG LIT. So the ULIT integrated the low level and the high level information through a just escape structures. So the three networks are often used in the segmentation network. Many segmentation-based defect networks are variants of these three. And another segmentation network is based on the master RCN, which using the features of the object detection network. So just the same with the fast RCN. And another branches is the segmentation branches of the segmentation network. So it is also a multitasking learning network. So let's introduce our works. So our first works is to deal with the weak scratches detection. The weak scratches are the surface of the optical components. Those scratches are very short. After imaging through the dark field, the L's with the scratches are brilliant, and the L without scratches are dark. So it is easy to distinguish the scratches or the background. But we can find that in the actually, the gray value of the scratches pixel is very close to the background. So, and also there is a lot of the noise in the background. So just using the traditional method is very difficult to distinguish which is scratches and which is background. We proposed a method based on the visual recognition rules for detection those weaker scratches. Actually, people tend to associate scenes that are consistent visual. So this is why people look at the scratch images. They can still to detect scratches, even they are very weak. Therefore, we proposed a scratch detection method based on the gable felt. So for the first, we just using the gable felt to scratch detections, and then the gable felt is converted to the 4 detection rules. So we're using the 4 detection rules to got the scratches, but maybe a lot of the scratches are just segmentation. So next we need to using the proposal knowledge to collect the scratches, and finally we need using the machine learning method to classify the scratches and the non-scratch else. So it means the interface remove. It can be seen from the picture that the scratches in the red else. So it is too weak for human else to see. So, but through the proposed algorithm, the scratches can extract well. The following the GitHub link is the scratch detection code. So we can go to the scratches, and next is the complete scratch detection result. We just put the 4 different images, maybe the long scratches or the dot scratches or the short scratches, but we got a good detection result for different straight line scratches. So they both the straight line scratches. At the same time, based on the deep learning method, and this year we proposed an algorithm based on the attention mechanism for scratch detection. And this method is based on the sliding windows. So we just to classify the sliding windows is it has scratches or not have the scratches. And we have the 2 parts, maybe the scale attention or the channel attention. So we're using the 2 parts to ensure that the scratches of the different size or the scales and the depths can be effectively detected. This paper was published on this year's case conference. So it can be seen from the image in the lower right corner of that. So our proposed method can better cover the complete else of the scratches compared to the other method. And the following is the result of the compare of our method with the traditional method. The first row is orange dark field image, and the red L is the scratch L's, so it was so difficult to see the scratch. And the second row is the result of the Optical method. So it can see that the Optical method failed to separate the scratches from the background. And the third role is a previous method based on the Gabor filter. We can say that the Gabor filter can only detect the straight line scratches, but for the covered scratch detection, it's not good for the covered scratch detect. The next second role is the results got by using the object detection network. We're using the retinal network. It can be said that the scratches can be well detected, so it's a broad bounding box. But along scratches will be surrounded by a lot of the box, which has the problem of the excessive detection. But the last role is our method. The red else is the scratches. So compared with the traditional method or the object detection method, our method detects more complex structures. Our lasted work compared traditional method and the deep learning method. Actually, the traditional method is not sensitive to the background and the brightness transform, but it can propose the effective near feature. And the deep learning method often required a large number of the image to training. So we compiled the two methods and designed the two module, named LMI and DSC module. The LMI is mainly used to exact the features of the scratches, and the DSC is used to simulate the scratch features in multiple direction. The feature maps extracted by the two modules are placed in the subsequent segmentation network. The segmentation network is an encoder-decoder network. So we can using the ULIT network or the SEG network. And this method can not only reduce the image required of the deep learning, but also improve the segmentation effect of the scratches. So this is the first time our comparing the traditional method with the deep learning, and the traditional method is inspired by the Gabor filter method in our previous paper. So we just using the traditional method to got a lot of the feature maps, and this feature maps is put into the encoder and decoder network to detect the scratches. So we just using comparing the knowledge. So the knowledge means is maybe the scratches is straight, or maybe it has a lot of the direction. So this means a knowledge for the scratches. Yeah. And at the same time, we also aim at the common scratching problems, such as the ground crack also can be regard as a special kind of the scratches. So we just proposed a network based on the multi-feature fusing to solve the problem, the scratch detection of the different scales and the different dips. So the video on the right is a ground correct. We shot with a mobile phone. So as we can see that we can have a better detection scratches, and so the speed of the detection correct is fast. So we're not using the GPU, but using the inter open window to get a faster detection speed for the correct on the ground. So this paper just is a common focus on the common scratch problems, and the whole model maybe is a segmentation model, but we're using the two paths, maybe the a lot of the model to multi-feature fusing. And the second task is to detect the Cropwell defects. So on the left is a Cropwell, and often and usually there are 5 Cropwell in the deep hole parts. Because of the small size of the deep hole parts, so it is very difficult to imagine the Cropwell inside. And in general, the 5 Cropwells should be normal and evenly distribute. But actually, they have many. They have various defects. So the following image we can say is a result of our detection using the proposed method. The image on the left is a missing Cropwells. So it just has 4 Cropwells. And using the class active map, which is a paper else. So paper else is a missing else, is a missing defects. And the right is the image show that the 2 Cropwells connected together. So it means the link defects, and the left is means is a missing defects. So the entire network using the multitasking learning network to deal with this problem for the defects classification. So for the multitasking learning, so we're using the same backbone, but we have the 2 branches, is the detection branches and the classification branches. And for the ROI extracted, we're using a method to go to the circle of the region. So this method just compiled the 2 parts network and sells the convolution neural network to detect the crop defects. And the last test is detection of the missing power insulators. The power insulators connect the image and using the design network to detect the insulator Ls. And the method we proposed is a cascade network. So in other words, the insulator is detected from the whole image first, and then the missing Ls is detected in the insulator Ls. So we have the two paths for the detection the defects. Actually, the missing insulant, the missing insulant. So the first network we called the insulator location, and the second is defect detector. And both of the network are using the fast RCN. And at the same time, since the problems of the insufficient training data, so we have proposed a data agreement. And we can see that in the right picture. So there are many insulants in the picture, and the green bounding box is okay, is a good insulant, but the red bounding box is a defective insulant. And we're also using the small bounding box to detect the insulant Ls. So different maybe the river and the power tower, the background, we can also detect the insulant. So this is cascade defect detection for the power inspector insulant. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Tao. A very good, nice and insightful talk. So
Thank you.
I request the participants, if you have any question, please unmute yourself and you may ask some questions. So I may ask this question if anyone is not asking. Now, these data sets, like, are you like capturing these data sets with drone? How? Can you hear me?
Sorry?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay.
Yeah. So I am asking that these images, are you capturing with drone?
Yes, they are captured by the zone, by the Dajiang zone. Yeah.
Okay, and after like capturing this video, like you are like doing some processing for extraction of frames, right?
Actually, this is not a radio, just the picture, just using the drone to from the different direction to just got the picture, not the video. Yeah.
It may be like high resolution image, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, and those like those crash detection images, those are captured by some camera or optical camera, something, some sort of like that.
They're just the camera and to change the focus. Yeah.
So,
The different field, the different visual field. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Any other question from the participants? So once again, I think there is no question as of now. So if you have any question, just you can email us, right? From where you can getting the invitation, you can email us as well. So I will forward that question
Yeah.
to as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You can directly like email Tao as well. Okay. Thank you, Tao, for sharing your email. So
Yeah. Thank you.
once
Yeah.
again, thank you very much for
Yes.
accepting.
Thank you, Chandler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you sometime later and talk to you later. Okay. As of now.
Okay.
And dear
Thank
participants,
you.
thank you for like participating. Thank you. I'm ending this session. Thank you. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Chandler. See
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.